Hi, I'm Simion Hawtin-Smith. I'm a designer and an upholsterer based in Greater Manchester, and I have a passion for all things eco. I'd like to introduce to you a new product that I've found, which is making my eco journey absolutely brilliant because it's made from recycled plastic bottles and it's chemical free. But not only that, it is the perfect replacement to using normal PU foam. Over the last couple of years, I've been working with this product, developing it to be able to use it on different styles of chairs. But for me, it's perfect even for a drop-in seat, the Arne Jacobsen egg chair, swan chairs, and my statement chair, which is the Park & Knoll Statesman. I'm coming up with new ways of using the product, and they always get better. So I want you to follow me today so I can show you how to use this product, how to shape it, the right adhesive to use for it, the right preparation to get the perfect restoration for you. Just like traditional foam, there's several different ways of cutting Ultraflex as well, but I use a traditional foam cutter. It is serrated, but you can get a smooth blade for these. But as you'll see, this does the trick brilliantly. So all my templates are cut out, and now it's the interesting part where we're going to put this product onto a polystyrene frame. So I'm going to start applying my first templates that I've cut out and show you how easy it is to mould this around this polystyrene shell. Obviously I'm going to be using a non-chlorinated spray adhesive. Bigger companies get the choice to use a water-based one. Unfortunately I don't get that in this studio. But first off, I'm going to connect these two together here. Going to wait for this to go off, and then it is as simple as one coat of adhesive here, one onto the product, and you'll see how nicely it adapts to this polystyrene. It's always worth paying attention to doing this because you want to get it done in one go really to get a good precise fit to it. Okay, you can probably see that it doesn't look like it's going to fit, but because you can manipulate it and mould it to it, that's the joy of this product. So I've cut it a little bit big so that I can fit it properly to the chair. So first off, I'm just going to hold it in place with some skewers, because you want it to be symmetrical on both sides. And the beauty of this as well is that it doesn't puncture like old foam does. It really is a lot more versatile than what I previously used. Because I'm demonstrating this today, I've actually overcut so that I can show you how to shape it onto the actual chair, shell, whatever you're working on. I'm going to do the top part of the Ultraflex first onto the shell of the chair, just because for me that's the way it works better, but you can always find a way that works for yourselves. I'm going to let the glue go off again. So if you're doing both sides at the same time, you can just go all the way around it really. But I just want to show you a side at a time. And it's always a good way of doing it is to hold it away so that it doesn't start sticking, just in case you need to move it. You don't want to be pulling it apart. Right, okay, so I'm pressing it back down now onto the shell. I wouldn't normally waste this much of of it in the first place, and then I'm going to show you how we can cut this with the Bosch foam cutter so that it fits the line of the chair. So the reason why I do the top of the chair or the top of the arms to start is that this is where you've got to be precise. This is the important part of it. This is where you've got to really sort of focus on. But all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a Sharpie pen and I'm going to draw like half an inch away from the frame so that I can show you how to mould it round the edge so that your fabric sits properly. Okay, so you can see that I've followed the contour of the shape of the chair, and then we've got this edge now that's sitting slightly over it. So I'm going to show you how to use the product to its best advantage to be able to create a proper side of the chair. I'm going to spray it like we did before with the spray adhesive, and I'm spraying both parts, the chair, like so. If I've done this previously, when I come back in the morning, traditional foam will have popped off, so I'll have to go around it and redo it all again, but this will stay once it's put into place. So this is a technique that I've been using for quite a few years now. I'm sure other people do it. I can't say that I've definitely made it or invented it, but it's just a way for upholsterers to be able to mould the whatever they're using on the chair rather than having it factory made. We have to find other ways of doing these things, certainly when you're just doing bespoke stuff. One tool that you need for this job is your regulator, found in all upholstery workshops, I'm sure. And all I'm going to use it for is just to be able to help fold over the edging. What I've applied on here is the 750 25mm, and as you can see, it's shaped over the arm beautifully like this. And one thing I want to point out here is this chair is decades old, so it's got its blemishes. You know, I've had to do some repair on the shell, so you imagine what it's like if you're using this on a product that's new, how much simpler it would be, because I have to kind of contend with the fact that I've had to repair the edging here with Hessian. So what I'm going to use now is a wadding just to protect the shell here and just to create more comfort and also get a better finish. My kind of saying is that the better it looks on the inside, the better it's going to look on the outside. So I'm going to put this on here now, and then again use a bit of spray adhesive just to hold it in place. I won't need to use much. All I'm going to do now is make sure that I'm following the lines of the original template so that the fabric sits on top of that as well. Again, I'm using a bigger piece so I can show you the cutting technique that I use. Essentially, this part here for me is really like cutting fabric. It's the first layer of that. So I'm going to slightly overcut it so that it brings these edges over and protects them. Going to make sure it's nice and snug as well. So all I'm going to do now is overcut it slightly along here just with scissors. The only thing I would say is make sure or do your best to get a nice straight line, because the next job for me would be then to use this on the outside of the shell, because it's like using foam. You know, I don't need to use anything other than this. So now you can see we've got this beautiful straight line, which I can then use as a guide to put the outside arm on. So I'm cutting it slightly proud so that if there is any error, then I can just move it down slightly so that it matches up perfectly with the inside arm. So what I would normally use is a Crib 5 wool interliner just to soften everything off, but with this product I don't need to do that, so it's actually cut my build time down In the past, obviously, I've used a more traditional material, being Dacron, as everybody knows it as. But with Dacron, it would stick to your fingers, and you'd pull it away, and then you'd try and have to fill it in with another little piece of Dacron to make sure it's smooth. But with this, as you can see, you know, it's not coming off. In fact, once the adhesive is dry on it, it's dry. So what I'm using here is the Tex Felt insulator, which works perfectly on this. The reason why I've shown this, what you could say is a tricky chair to do, is that I wanted to show you a more bespoke chair that I work on, that if it can work on this, how much simpler this product is to use on your more easy projects. So again, I've overcut the insulator just because I wanted to give a bit more of an in-depth demonstration. But what you would do really is you'd have your patterns for chairs that you've worked on or you work on regularly. You know, obviously I do these chairs a lot, and I've got my templates hanging up. But it's so much easier just to template this all up instead of using a Dacron, which is really thin and it's going to rip. So it's just making the process a lot quicker. So I'm actually just cutting it while it's on the chair now, just to make sure that my seams are all going to match up. One comfy chair already. The important part of the comfort is done, but now my favourite part is going to be adding the fabric. But as you can see from this process, it's been very easy. And what I love about the insulator especially is the fact I can treat it like a fabric, because these chairs, although they have templates, it's a lot about tailoring, and it's saved me a lot of time, and the finish is perfect for me because I can then follow the lines that I've created with the insulator for my fabric to go on the top. The important part of a chair is obviously the comfort. So the cushions on the back and the seat will be using different densities from the Ultraflex range to create that superb comfort. So this is the finished article, and I can tell you now that it's extremely comfortable, and how important it is to build up the layers so that I can create straight lines to show off this beautiful Parker Knoll Ambassador vintage chair. And I think that this is the perfect story. I've got a vintage chair, I've got recycled fabric and recycled plastic bottles with the Ultraflex for the comfort. So this is the core product from the Ultraflex, and this is perfect for doing good old-fashioned dining room seats. But what I'm going to do, which is different historically, I'm going to spray this onto the Ultraflex and then cut round it, because I feel, or through using this, the stability is there to get a good edge on it. So I've not left much drying time on that because this is ply. It's not going to take much grab on it. By the time I've got my cutter out, it'll be perfectly dry and good to go. So I'm going to slightly cut away from the edge of the ply so that I can pinch the Ultraflex and create a beautiful shape. There we go. So what I'm going to do now, spray adhesive all the way round, and then it will create the perfect edge. I'm going to leave that to properly dry. Okay. So I'm just going to pinch and roll technique to finish the edge off, so we get a nice finish. So I've just temporarily tacked this off so far, but you can already see the shape from the pinch and roll method on the core Ultraflex. So what I love about Ultraflex is the fact that I can carry on my bespoke tailoring within the cushion. I can build these to how I want them to be. So you've got your core here, which is the stability, and then on the top here we've got the comfort. Myself personally, I don't like a reversible cushion because, like this Urcol here, it's pattern matched and you can't do it all the way around because it would be upside down. But with Ultraflex you can have that by having the core and the comfort on the bottom and the top to be able to create cushions like this.